Can't feel my feet, can't feel my hands. Really hard day. It's not even like fun. I mean, it's a sadistic kind of fun. Alright, here we go, and another one. Today we're at the Santa Cruz Classic Criterium. This is a race that's part of an Omnium series. This race takes place on Sunday. The day before, on Saturday, we had Cat's Hill, two ultra classic NorCal races that are combined into an Omnium for an overall and a jersey. And I'll just start by saying, this weekend is typically the worst weekend for me in my racing calendar. I cannot seem to get either of these races right, and I've had a bad time both prior years that I've been racing at these things. And today is no different. It is so gross out. It is freezing. It is actively raining. The streets are flooded, and the field is still really strong. So we've got some really strong riders in the field, some really poor conditions, and it was just miserable, man. It was a miserable race. I'll break it down for you, and we'll cover it. But, you know, I just wasn't having a good time. We're off to a really fast start, and generally the theme of this race is it's just hard. I found no way to efficiently ride it, like, this course and like getting rest. Well, there's one small section that you can get rest, but it was kind of not enough, at least for me. Some of these guys did Cat's Hill the day before, so they actually have a really hard race in their legs already. I did not. I was not able to make it out to Cat's Hill. I heard Cat's Hill, for the threes specifically, was also absolutely horrible. And for what it's worth, after our race here, the skies cleared up. It was much nicer. But for some reason, us threes, we're getting the rinse this season with cold, rainy, gritty races, and this is just another one. And I want to showcase how hard it is. I'm doing 520, 530 watts, and I lost a spot or two. I'm not making up any time, just sitting in, just staying where I am in the pack, and it was kind of that way both up the hill and coming out of the U-turn each time. Just really hard numbers, and even though it is rainy and kind of crappy out, that doesn't mean that we went super slow. Like, if you take a look at this corner and what it's like coming into here, we're doing 34 miles an hour in this blustery, rainy, kind of crap environment. You're eating road grime for 40 minutes, right? So yeah, you really have to lock in mentally to prepare for this. Like, you have to be ready to literally eat the road slop for 40 minutes and just be like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. I'll be okay. And yeah, so here's the U-turn, one of the course. The course it's a great course. It's pretty technical. That super tight U-turn is a focal point in the race. Every time, regardless of poor weather. But in the poor weather, it kind of just became like an ice rink that you're like dancing on top of and hoping that your tires don't slip out. There were some incidences in the corner, or incidents in the corner, but which is coming up in a moment. But generally, I tried to make this as efficient as possible for myself by taking kind of wider, smoother lines where I did have some out available to me in the event that someone slid out or there's a crash or I lost traction. So yeah, it's trying to keep it smooth as possible. And yeah, this back section was the one spot where you could maybe catch your breath a little bit before heading up that hill and doing an ungodly amount of watts again. Oh, here, look at this. Mike's Bikes Rider screws up the corner and just uses that dude as a berm. He, like, basically just uses him as a wall to bounce off of and, like, stay on the course. It's crazy, man. like what? He, like, locked up the rear wheel, stood up straight, and he just T-boned him, took him down, and then kept going. It was crazy. I saw that. I was like, oh, he got mugged. That guy got mugged. Here we are once again. I cut forward a little bit to later in the race. The attrition is happening. We're now like 20 plus minutes into the race, and that 20 plus minute mark, you really start to see who's been riding over the limit versus on or under their limit. It feels like 20 or so minutes is that breaking point where if you're over the line, you're not gonna be able to hold it together. And yeah, we're still trucking right along, but as you can see, single file, strung out, pretty fast. You know, we're doing our best here to survive. Oh, right here, that guy up there, Charlie from Penn Velo, goes off the front, and this is the first like real threatening move of the entire race. And I call it out because the previous weekend I was at Bariani and we lost to him because he went off the front and did his TT thing, and no one could do anything about it. No one can reel him in. Like, this is what he does really well. So I called it out to everyone. I just started yelling because I don't know if anyone else or everyone else knows that he is the junior ITT state champion or whatever it is. But I call it out, and actually, to my great surprise, people did respond, and we were pushing pretty hard. I would have been at the front pulling it back, but I don't have the fitness for that, really, frankly. And I was super cold this entire race. I never warmed up, and miserable. So yeah, that was that. Oh, we're 5 laps to go now. We're coming into this deadly hairpin again. And Mike is with me in this race. We had Ringo as well. Ringo dropped out pretty early. He really wasn't feeling it. So Mike and I are the last two on Dolce Vita, gritting it out here. Mike's riding a great race so far. And he's stuck in. There have been people dropping off, and there has been kind of some pack attrition associated with the race. And right now you can see, look how strung out it is. We got head riders all the way in that right-hand corner. Right? Look at the line. This is like, things are falling apart, and this is the first moment I realized they're falling apart. And I'm looking at all these gaps. I'm like, oh no. Turns out one of the reasons this gap opened is because the guy in this colorful kit, Daniel, just decided to pull the plug on his day. He was done, but I didn't know that, and this is why you don't want to be at the back, because there are people who are just like, I'm done for the day, and then this happens. So now these guys are chasing. I ran over that guy's rear wheel. They fall in front of me. I barely stay up. And what's happening? Well, the group is gone. There's no catching back on after this for me. Like, I'm just done. There's 4 laps to go, so there's no free laps. You don't get to stay in anymore. And I caught the finish, so let's watch the finish. The final of the Cat 3.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know about you, but that kind of looked easy for that guy in white. Mike finished the race. He did a good job. And this was one of those weekends where I wish I had stayed in bed. This was a totally miserable race. Freezing, soaking to the bone. Which is, I hope there is a year where I come back and I can redeem myself in these 2 races and do well. But until then, these 2 races, which I actually like and look forward to every year, not my weekend. Not my weekend. But yeah, there's that. Hopefully we don't have too many more rainy, cold, gross races ahead of us, because I don't like doing them. Catch you on the next one. Bye.